Welcome back to our channel, all about old coins value. In this video, we reveal the full history, value, and special details behind 4 incredible Jefferson nickels, coins you might already have in your pocket or collection. Value of the 1979 Jefferson nickel, a coin that may appear common at first glance but holds layers of historical importance. Minting details, collector interest, and potential value for those who know what to look for. Stay with me as we uncover everything you need to know about the 1979 Jefferson nickel, from its origins to varieties, and from mintage figures to market demand. This is your complete professional guide that collectors, historians, and coin lovers will all appreciate. The 1979 Jefferson nickel is part of a coin series that began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel and honoring the 3rd President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. The original design of the Jefferson nickel was created by German-American sculptor Felix Schlag, who won a design competition held by the United States Mint. Schlag's design remained largely unchanged for over 6 decades, and the 1979 version of this coin is part of the tail end of this long-running, classic design. The obverse of the 1979 Jefferson nickel features the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, based on a marble bust by sculptor Jean-Antoine Houdon, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust Liberty," and the year 1979. On the reverse, you will see Monticello Jefferson's Virginia plantation home, along with the inscriptions, "E Pluribus Unum," Monticello 5 cents, and United States of America. The design of Monticello was modeled after Jefferson's own neoclassical architectural style, and though modified slightly in later years, the 1979 version still uses Felix Schlag's original reverse design from 1938. This continuity in design across decades speaks to the enduring appreciation of Jefferson's legacy in American history. 1979 nickels were struck at 3 different mints: the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark, the Denver Mint marked with a D, and the San Francisco Mint, which produced proof coins marked with an S. Each of these mints played a specific role in producing Jefferson nickels for circulation and collectors alike. The Philadelphia Mint produced the largest quantity with over 463 million coins, struck. The Denver Mint produced over 325 million, and the San Francisco Mint created approximately 3.1 million proof coins for collectors. The high mintage figures indicate that these coins are generally common in circulated condition. However, certain varieties and conditions can carry greater interest and value for collectors. In circulated condition, most 1979 Jefferson nickels are worth only their face value of 5 cents, unless they exhibit unique characteristics such as die errors, high-grade mint state conditions, or full steps on the reverse. Monticello design full steps refer to the number of clearly defined steps on the front of Monticello, a feature highly sought after by collectors because it indicates a strong strike and high-quality coin. Full steps are graded on the presence of 5 or 6 uninterrupted steps, with 6 full steps being the ideal and rarest among circulated coins. Finding a 1979 Jefferson nickel with 6 full steps in high mint state condition such as MS65 or higher is uncommon and can bring significant premiums at auctions. Grading is a key part of determining the value of any coin, and Jefferson nickels are no exception. Grading ranges from poor to mint state, with professional coin grading services such as PCGS and NGC providing accurate third-party grading for coins. Collectors often seek 1979 Jefferson nickels in mint state grades of MS65, MS66, and higher coins that receive full step designation, especially from PCGS or NGC, often sell for much more than ordinary uncirculated examples. For example, a 1979 D Jefferson nickel graded MS66 with full steps can fetch over $100 or more. Depending on market demand and condition, a 1979 no mint mark nickel with full steps can bring similar prices, while proof coins from the San Francisco Mint can be even more valuable in perfect PR69 or PR70 deep cameo grades. In addition to grading errors, and varieties play an important role in the collectability and value of the 1979 Jefferson nickel. Collectors are always on the lookout for minting errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, repunched mint marks, and clipped planchets. Though errors are rare, they can command very high prices if authenticated and graded by a third party. For example, a 1979 Jefferson nickel with a dramatic off-center strike or strong double die obverse can be worth several $100s or more, especially when preserved in a high mint state condition. These errors occur during the minting process and are often one of a kind, making them especially desirable to error collectors. Historically, the Jefferson nickel was introduced during a time of significant change in American coinage. The transition from the Buffalo nickel to the Jefferson nickel reflected a shift in aesthetic and cultural priorities during the Great Depression era. While the Buffalo nickel celebrated the American frontier and Native American heritage, the Jefferson nickel symbolized Enlightenment architecture and the founding values of the American Republic. The 1979 version continued this tradition and arrived during a time of economic uncertainty and inflation. In the United States, the coin remained unchanged in design and composition, still made of 75% copper and 25% nickel with a weight of 5 grams and a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. During the late 1970s, coin collecting remained a popular hobby in the United States, though the hobby would see significant resurgence in the 1980s as precious metals prices soared and media attention turned to rare coin auctions. Despite being a high mintage year, the 1979 Jefferson nickel did not receive special collector attention at the time, which means that few people set aside these coins in pristine condition, making surviving high-grade examples much more difficult to find today over time. However, collectors have come to appreciate the challenge of assembling a complete high-grade Jefferson nickel set, especially with full steps, which has boosted demand and prices for certain key dates, including high-quality 1979 nickels. As with all coins, the condition, storage, and handling of the 1979 Jefferson nickel greatly affect its long-term value. Coins stored in non-acidic holders such as mylar flips, archival plastic, or professional coin slabs are less likely to develop spotting or corrosion. Uncirculated rolls of 1979 nickels can still occasionally be found through estate sales or old bank stock, but most coins in circulation today show signs of wear, scratches, and loss of original luster. Collectors should always be cautious about cleaning coins, as improper cleaning can permanently reduce value and make a coin unsuitable for grading. Professional conservation and authentication is always preferred for high-value or potentially rare coins. The legacy of the Jefferson nickel extends beyond its monetary value. It represents an enduring American design and tribute to a founding father whose influence shaped the nation's principles, architecture, and governance. The fact that the Jefferson nickel remained largely unchanged for so many decades speaks to its cultural importance and continued relevance among coin enthusiasts. The 1979 Jefferson nickel, while common in circulation, stands as a historical marker for its era and continues to attract interest from collectors seeking to complete full sets or acquire exceptional quality examples. In summary, the 1979 Jefferson nickel is more than just a piece of pocket change. It carries a legacy that spans generations, reflecting the values of the United States through art, history, and economy. Collectors value it for its design potential, errors, and rare full-step designations. Understanding its history and knowing what to look for in condition and strike quality can make the difference between finding an ordinary coin and uncovering a hidden treasure in your pocket change or coin collection. So whether you are a beginner or a seasoned collector, the 1979 Jefferson nickel is a worthy addition to your numismatic journey and a fascinating piece of American coinage to study, treasure, and share. Stay tuned to my channel, Old Coins Value, as we continue to bring you deep historical insights and collector knowledge on all things coins, Jefferson nickels, Lincoln pennies, Washington quarters, and so much more. Thank you for watching and supporting our journey into the fascinating world of rare American coins.
Reproducible design and the United States Mint held a competition to select the new look of the 5-cent piece. The winning design was created by Felix Schlag, a German-born American sculptor who featured a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and an image of Monticello. Jefferson's famous Virginia home on the reverse. The Jefferson nickel design remained largely unchanged for more than 6 decades, making it one of the most stable and familiar coin designs in United States history. The 1995 Jefferson nickel sits near the end of this uninterrupted design era before major modifications began in the early 2000s, although it shares many visual elements with its predecessors. There are small differences and characteristics that make it worth exploring in depth. The coin was struck at two primary mint locations, Philadelphia and Denver, with no mint mark for Philadelphia coins and AD mint mark. For those struck in Denver, millions of these coins were produced as part of the regular business strike intended for daily use in commerce. One of the most important elements of the Jefferson nickel is the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, a figure who served as the 3rd President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Jefferson's impact on American history is enormous, and the coin that bears his image serves as a constant reminder of his vision for democracy, liberty, and the pursuit of knowledge. His home, Monticello, which appears on the reverse of the coin, is not only an architectural marvel but a symbol of Enlightenment ideals and innovation. It remains a major historical site and is featured prominently in American culture and currency. The 1995 edition of the Jefferson nickel was minted at a time of stability and economic growth in the United States. The coin reflects the durable utilitarian values of its time as it circulated widely in pockets and cash registers from coast to coast. It was made of a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a metal combination that had been used since the coin's inception in 1938. The weight of each coin is 5 grams, and it has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. The edge of the coin is smooth, which is typical for nickels and different from the reeded edges found on quarters and dimes. From a numismatic perspective, the 1995 Jefferson nickel may not immediately stand out as rare, but collectors know that value is often hidden in the details. Certain strike variations, full steps on Monticello, and proof versions of the coin make specific examples highly desirable. Full steps refer to the clarity and completeness of the steps leading up to Monticello. On the reverse of the coin, a feature that is difficult to preserve due to the striking process, a coin that displays all 6 steps without any interruption is considered a premium quality example and can command higher prices among collectors. There were also special proof coins struck in San Francisco for collectors. These coins bear the S mint mark and were produced with extra care to showcase detail and reflectivity. Proof coins are often collected in pristine condition and serve as historical snapshots of the mint's best work in 1995. These proof coins are particularly appealing due to their sharpness, contrast, and mirror-like finish. A perfect specimen graded by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can bring significant attention and value in the collector's market. In addition to the standard production and proofs, there are known errors and anomalies associated with the 1995 Jefferson nickel that increase interest and potential value. Examples include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and planchet flaws. Each of these error types contributes to a unique coin story, and collectors are always on the lookout for these rarities. Some double die examples may show slight doubling in the inscriptions, such as in the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," and such errors are often discovered by sharp-eyed hobbyists and specialists who examine coins under magnification. To appreciate the full significance of the 1995 Jefferson nickel, we must also examine its place in the timeline of American coins. By 1995, the US Mint had not yet embarked on the westward Journey Nickel series, which began in 2004 to commemorate the Lewis and Clark expedition, nor had it transitioned to the new Jefferson portrait designed by Jamie Franke in 2006, so this Coin represents one of the final years of the original Felix Schlag design and unbroken lineage from 1938 through 2003, a stretch of 65 years that helped cement the Jefferson nickel as a staple in American currency. When we speak about collecting and preserving coins like the 1995 Jefferson nickel, it is important to understand grading, storage, and market trends. A well-preserved uncirculated coin with strong eye appeal can be significantly more valuable than a worn circulated example. Grading agencies use a scale from 1 to 70 to assess coin condition, with Ms. 60 or higher considered mint state. Collectors often aim for coins with Ms. 65 or higher, particularly those with strong strikes and clean surfaces. Storage is also crucial for long-term preservation. Coins should be kept in acid-free holders, albums, or slabs to prevent damage from air, moisture, and handling. It is also advisable to avoid cleaning coins, as this can lower their numismatic value, even if it improves visual appearance to the untrained eye. Market trends show that interest in Jefferson nickels has grown over the years, particularly as more collectors recognize the importance of maintaining complete sets. This includes finding key dates, mint marks, full steps, and high-grade examples of each year, including 1995 auction data. And online marketplaces indicate that top-graded 1995 nickels with full steps can sell for hundreds of dollars, while rare error coins may sell for even more depending on demand, rarity, and condition. As we wrap up this deep exploration of the 1995 Jefferson nickel, it becomes clear that coins like this one are more than just pocket change. They are miniature artifacts, each holding stories of design, politics, economics, and national identity. The next time you come across a nickel from 1995, take a moment to look closer. You might be holding a piece of American heritage that connects you to a broader story, one that began centuries ago with Thomas Jefferson and continues today in the hands of collectors, historians, and everyday people who find meaning in the small circles of metal that pass from one generation to the next. Thank you for watching this extended deep dive into the 1995 Jefferson nickel here on Old Coins Value. If you enjoyed this journey through history, craftsmanship, and collecting, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with fellow coin lovers. Stay tuned for more rare coin explorations and historical insights right here on your trusted source for numismatic knowledge. Decades of American heritage, monetary evolution, and numismatic intrigue. The Jefferson nickel has a long and rich history that begins in the year 1938 when it was first minted to replace the Buffalo nickel. The new design was introduced as part of a competition held by the United States Mint, and it featured a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse side, while the reverse displayed Jefferson's home, Monticello, a neoclassical architectural masterpiece in Virginia that reflects the ideals of the Enlightenment. The designer Felix Schlag was born in Germany and immigrated to the United States, where he submitted the winning design for the new nickel. His original reverse design was later modified by the Mint to better reflect the appearance of Monticello, and over time the Jefferson nickel became a staple in American coinage, representing not only the face of a founding father but also an evolving America during times of war, peace, economic change, and social transformation. By 1985, the Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for 47 years, and it remained relatively unchanged in terms of design. The obverse featured Jefferson facing left, his hair tied back in a traditional 18th century style, the word liberty in cursive, and the year 1985 appearing just to the right. The reverse continued to feature Monticello with the inscriptions E pluribus unum Monticello 5 cents and United States of America surrounding the central image. The 1985 Jefferson nickel was minted at 3 locations: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. Though the San Francisco coins were made specifically for collectors in proof sets, the Philadelphia Mint coins do not bear a mint mark. While those from Denver are marked with a small d to the right of Monticello, the S mint mark for San Francisco coins can be found in proof issues, which are typically struck with polished dies on specially prepared plankets to produce a mirror-like finish. Over 800 million Jefferson nickels were struck in 1985 between Philadelphia and Denver alone, making it one of the most abundant coins of the era. However, scarcity in numismatics is not always about mintage numbers. It is about condition errors, die varieties, and historical context. For example, collectors seek out Jefferson nickels in high mint state condition, especially those graded MS66 or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. Die varieties and mint errors from 1985 are particularly interesting to collectors, and some of the most notable include die cracks, die clashes, off-center strikes, and double die obverses or reverses. Though less common in the 1985 nickel compared to earlier or later years, these errors, when certified, can significantly increase the coin's value, especially among specialized error collectors. To understand the value of the 1985 Jefferson nickel, we must also explore the material composition. The coin is made primarily of a copper-nickel alloy with a diameter of 21.2 millimeters and a weight of 5 grams. It has a smooth edge, and its non-precious metal content reflects the economic adjustments made by the U.S. Mint following wartime nickel shortages in the 1940s and later inflation concerns. During the mid-1980s, the American economy was undergoing significant transformation following the inflationary pressures of the 1970s and early 1980s. The Reagan administration's policies were reshaping federal tax structures, government spending, and monetary policy, while global markets were becoming increasingly interconnected. In such a climate, the value of coinage as both legal tender and collectible asset took on new dimensions. In terms of design, the Jefferson nickel occupies a middle ground. It is not as sought after as the silver wartime nickels, nor as iconic as the original 1938 issues, yet it holds a special place for those interested in building complete date and mint mark sets of Jefferson nickels from 1938 through modern times. Many coin albums and folders produced by companies like Whitman are designed with this purpose in mind, allowing collectors to trace the history of American coinage through tangible pieces. Like the 1985 nickel occupies a middle ground. It is not as sought after as the silver wartime nickels, nor as iconic as the original 1938 issues, yet it holds a special place for those interested in building complete date and mint mark sets of Jefferson nickels from 1938 through modern times. Many coin albums and folders produced by companies like Whitman are designed with this purpose in mind, allowing collectors to trace the history of American coinage through tangible pieces. Like the 1985 nickel. For coin hunters, roll searches, and metal detectorists, the 1985 nickel is also a common find, and while its face value remains 5 cents, finding one in pristine uncirculated condition or spotting a rare error can make the search worthwhile. There have been reports of strong strikes, weak strikes, and issues with plancheck quality during the mid-1980s that make high-grade coins harder to find than the mintage numbers might suggest. When we examine the legacy of the Jefferson nickel, we must also consider its role in American identity. Currency serves not only as a medium of exchange, but also as a reflection of national values and priorities. The choice to depict Jefferson was not arbitrary. It emphasized Enlightenment ideals, democracy, architecture, and education, all of which Jefferson championed during his lifetime. Moreover, Monticello as an image captures both the beauty and complexity of American history. It was the home of a man who authored the Declaration of Independence, but who also lived within the contradictions of slavery and freedom, wealth and responsibility, art and politics. The Jefferson nickel thus becomes more than metal. It becomes a miniature monument to American ideals, aspirations, and historical paradoxes. Today, coin collectors use various resources to appraise the value of a 1985 Jefferson nickel, including online auction sites, price guides, grading reports, and community forums. Some coins in exceptionally High grades have sold for over $100 due to their pristine condition and certification, but the average circulated coin is typically worth face value unless it features a notable error or variety. Educational institutions, museums, and numismatic organizations often use common coins like the 1985 nickel to teach students and new collectors about the fundamentals of coin grading, minting processes, historical research, and preservation practices. The process of examining a coin under magnification, checking for strike clarity, luster, wear, and anomalies is both scientific and artistic. It requires patience, attention to detail, and a genuine curiosity for history. The coin market continues to evolve with technology, and the 1985 Jefferson nickel remains part of that evolving conversation as collectors digitize their collections, track price movements online, and share discoveries with fellow enthusiasts across the world. The humble nickel minted during the Cold War era lives on as a symbol of American continuity amidst global change. In conclusion, the 1985 Jefferson nickel might seem like a simple 5-cent piece, but it embodies a vast historical narrative, from the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and his vision for America to the design philosophies of Felix Schlag, from mid-20th century economic policy to modern collecting trends and digital marketplaces. This coin offers an endless stream of stories, facts, and insights for the passionate numismatist. So, whether you are a seasoned collector, a curious viewer, or someone just starting your journey into the world of old coins, the 1985 Jefferson nickel invites you to look closer, think deeper, and appreciate the hidden history in the change you carry every day. It surprised you. To understand the 1980 Jefferson nickel, we must first look back to the origins of the Jefferson nickel itself, which began in the year 1938. This coin replaced the buffalo nickel, also known as the Indian head nickel, which had been in circulation since 1913. The buffalo nickel was iconic, but by the late 1930s, as the United States Mint decided it was time for a new design that would feature a founding father, one who contributed heavily to the shaping of the American nation, and so the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, was chosen to grace the 5-cent piece. His image, along with his famous home Monticello, would become a fixture of American currency for many decades to come. The new design was created by artist Felix Schlag, a German-American sculptor who won a national design competition. Schlag's original version of Monticello was modified before the final design was approved, and the first Jefferson nickels were struck in 1938. The obverse or front of the coin featured a left-facing portrait of Jefferson, while the reverse or back displayed Monticello, the neoclassical Virginia home that Jefferson himself designed and built. From 1938 onward, the Jefferson nickel became a staple in American pockets, purses, and cash registers, but during the early years of World War II, the composition of the coin had to be changed due to the wartime need for nickel metal. From 1942 to 1945, Jefferson nickels were made from a silver alloy known as the wartime nickel, consisting of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. These nickels can be identified by a large mint mark placed above Monticello on the reverse, including the rare and sought after 1943 P1944D and 1945S nickels, which today carry significant numismatic value depending on their condition. After the war ended in 1945, the composition returned to the standard copper-nickel alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, which remained the same all the way through to the 1980 version of the coin, which we are focusing on in this video. Now let us zoom in on the year 1980, a year that may not seem historically significant at first glance, but in the world of coin collecting, every year tells a unique story. In 1980, the United States was experiencing a time of transition, both economically and politically. Inflation was high, the economy was volatile, and there was a growing interest in collecting coins. Not just as a hobby, but as a hedge against the uncertain economy, the U.S. Mint produced Jefferson nickels at 3 locations in 1980: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and each of these carries its own distinguishing marks and characteristics. The 1980 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. And this was actually the last year before Philadelphia began regularly adding a P-mint mark to its nickels in 1981, so the 1980 Philadelphia issue holds a special place as the end of an era. The Denver minted coins bear a D-mint mark and are generally very common, but high-grade examples, especially in MS66 and above, can be surprisingly difficult to find and therefore more valuable. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins, which were not intended for circulation, and these are of particular interest to collectors because of their high-quality finish, mirror-like fields, and frosted details. It is important to know that in 1980, the total mintage for Jefferson nickels was substantial, with over 550 million struck in Philadelphia, over 730 million struck in Denver, and more than 3 million proof coins minted in San Francisco. This means that for everyday circulation, the coin is quite common, but not all coins are created equal. While the average worn 1980 Jefferson nickel might only be worth its face value, a coin in mint state, especially if certified by a grading service like PCGS or NGC, can carry much more value. To give you a deeper understanding of what makes certain 1980 Jefferson nickels valuable, we need to talk about strike quality, planchette condition, luster, and the presence or absence of any errors or varieties. Coin grading is a complex process, but in simple terms, coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with Ms. 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. Most 1980 nickels you will find in circulation might grade between MS60 and MS64, but finding one in MS66 or higher, especially from regular strikes, not proofs, can be very challenging, and that is where the value starts to rise. Collectors will pay a premium for coins in this high range, especially if they are certified. Errors and varieties can also greatly increase the value of a 1980 Jefferson nickel. Examples include off-center strikes, die cracks, filled dies, and double dies. The most desirable among these is a double die, obverse or reverse, where the design elements appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process. Such coins are rare and must be authenticated, but they can sell for dozens or even hundreds of dollars depending on severity and condition. Now let us take a journey through the minting process itself to better appreciate how these nickels were made and why certain errors occurred. The process begins with the creation of coin blanks, which are cut from metal sheets, then softened in an annealing furnace, washed and dried before being struck. The dies used to strike the coins are made from master hubs, which imprint the design. If there is a flaw in the die, or if the die is used for too long without being replaced, imperfections can appear on the coins it strikes, and these imperfections can become key collectible features. Monticello, the building depicted on the reverse of the Jefferson nickel, was the personal estate of Thomas Jefferson, and is a symbol of his architectural genius and philosophical beliefs. In fact, the depiction of Monticello on the nickel has changed very little over the decades, with only minor modifications until the design overhaul in 2004. As part of the Westward Journey nickel series, the 1980 Jefferson nickel stands as one of the last classic design issues before this modern update. When it comes to collecting Jefferson nickels, many collectors build date and mint mark sets, trying to get one of each from every year and every mint. Others look for high-grade examples or rare varieties, while some enjoy collecting proof issues due to their pristine appearance. The 1980 issues offer opportunities in all these areas, especially for collectors who appreciate the transitional significance of the year. To understand just how valuable these coins can become, let us look at some auction results over the years. A 1980 D Jefferson nickel graded MS67 full steps by PCGS sold for over $1,000 in a public auction. Another example of a 1980 no-mint mark nickel-graded MS66 also sold for hundreds due to its exceptional strike and preserved luster. The term full steps refers to the clarity and completeness of the steps on Monticello, a small detail that requires a perfect strike and can significantly increase a coin's value. Let us now look into the role of the Jefferson nickel in American history and how it reflects national identity. Thomas Jefferson was not only a president, but also the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, a diplomat, an inventor, and a visionary. His presence on American coinage reminds us of the Enlightenment ideals upon which the country was founded and is home. Monticello symbolizes innovation and independence. The coin, therefore, is not just currency but a piece of American heritage. As we examine the 1980 Jefferson nickel in detail, it is clear that this coin offers more than just face value. It represents the end of a design era, the last year before modern mint mark standards, and an accessible entry point into coin collecting for beginners and experts alike. Whether you are searching through old change jars, buying rolls from the bank, or visiting coin shows and auctions, the 1980 Jefferson nickel is worth a closer look. We will now explore visual comparisons between mint state examples, circulated coins, proof strikes, and error varieties. We will examine what makes one coin worth 5 cents and another worth 50 or even 500, and we will share insights from expert collectors and numismatists who have dedicated decades to studying the Jefferson nickel series. So stay with us as we journey through the minting history, grading, rarity, value, and beauty of the 1980 Jefferson nickel and unlock the secrets behind one of America's most enduring coins right here on Old Coins Value.